Bow speed, bow pressure and the change of sounding point are the only three actions that can affect your sound. This is very important. The left hand is responsible only for pitch and vibrato, but it cannot make differences between forte and piano. To control speed, pressure and sounding point, I will show you an exercise for each of these elements. We start with bow speed. We play one beat with the fastest possible bow speed and one beat with the slowest speed. Due to the high bow speed, you have to practice this close to the fingerboard. Then we double the tempo of the exercise. We do it twice on one bow, then 4 times, 6 times and so on. Make sure you only change the speed of the bow. There should be no pressure from your index finger in the entire exercise. Now we practice pressure. In this case, the speed does not change, it stays constant, and each beat gets half a bow. Press for one beat and release the pressure completely for the second beat. Now speed it up. Make sure your bow speed does not change. The third exercise is for change of sounding point. The sounding point is the place on the string between the bridge and the fingerboard where your bow touches the string. Start at the fingerboard and go to the bridge, then back to the fingerboard all in one bow. Now try the same motion twice in one bow. The bow has to stay parallel to the bridge. That means your arm extension controls your sounding point. As you get faster, the range of sounding points becomes smaller in this exercise. These three elements correspond to the 3 dimensions we know in our physical world. We can go forward, that's bow speed, we can go up and down, that's pressure, and we can go sideways, that's your sounding point. Separating these elements will give you great possibilities for phrasing, beautiful choices for small inflections in your playing, and for projecting your musical choices to the audience. We're practicing bow speed. We're going to play one beat with a very fast bow, using almost the entire bow, and one beat with a very slow bow. In all of this, we don't change the pressure of the bow, and we have to do it very close to the fingerboard because of the high bow speed. Can you try that? Very good. That really separates the bow speed from the bow pressure. Now, can we do this twice on one bow? Great. Now let's do it 4 times, and then 6 times, and then 8 times. Always 2 beats per bow. Excellent. You really only changed the speed of the bow and you didn't use any pressure on your index finger, and that clearly separates the bow speed from the bow pressure. We're practicing bow pressure. For that we play for one beat with pressure and for one beat without any pressure. In this case, the bow speed does not change. It's one constant bow speed, and the sounding point does not change. It's 2 beats per bow. Can you try, please? Excellent. Can we do that twice on one bow? Very good. Now let's do it 4 times, then 6 times, and then 8 times on one bow, and it's still 2 beats per bow. Great. It's very important to separate this pressure from the speed and from the sounding point. So this one is only with pressure, no change of speed and no change of sounding point. Very good. Hi, we're practicing the change of sounding points, and for that we go from the fingerboard all the way to the bridge and back to the fingerboard in one bow, and we will try to keep the bow completely straight. Can you try it? Very good. So in order to keep the bow straight, you need to control the extension of the right arm from the elbow. Yeah. Now, can we do the same thing twice on one bow? Very good. How about 3 times? In this case, the motion may become a little bit smaller. Very good. That teaches you to control the sounding point and to keep the bow completely straight while you do it. Great. We're practicing bow changes at the frog. And at first, we're going to take the bow completely off the string at the frog, and you will see that the string will still ring after the bow is in the air. And then while the string is still ringing, we sneak back into the string with a down bow. Yeah? Very nice. The second exercise is that we shorten the time that we're in the air. Very good. In the third exercise, we don't lift the bow off the string anymore, but we press on the pinky in order to lift all of the bow weight off the string in the moment of the bow change. Yeah, can you try that? Very good. And if you practice that a lot, you will get very smooth bow changes.
Okay, so now we'll practice bow changes at the tip.
Okay.
If we don't vibrate through the bow change, and if we keep our pressure of our right hand the same all the way through, then we can hear the bow change. You want to try that? So what we want to do if we need to disguise the bow change is to vibrate through it, and then at the moment of the bow change to release the pressure of the index finger for just a split second. Why don't you try that? Very good. That way we can disguise that.
Okay.
We're practicing completely inaudible bow changes, and we will practice them on a trill. So one of the ways to make it inaudible is if you continue the trill, it'll be much easier to hide the bow change. The other thing we will do is an auxiliary motion with the right arm. If you raise your elbow a little bit more than usual, and you lower it long before you get to the bow change and to the down bow, that gives you a smooth motion in the right arm that will help make the bow change really round. Can you try that from the middle to the frog? Excellent. Now at the tip, all you need is a split-second release of pressure on the index finger right at the moment of the bow change. Do you want to try that? Very good. Now play a couple of bows back and forth with this really smooth bow change. Very good. That makes really inaudible bow changes. Great. We're working on Brahms' D minor, the second movement, and we want to pay attention to the bow changes at the frog and at the tip. Two things to keep in mind. For a really smooth bow change, we need a tiny pressure release right at the moment of the bow change at the tip and at the frog. And the second thing is a continuous vibrato in the left hand. Let's practice it first on one note. Can you try that? That's very good. Brahms writes very long phrases, and sometimes we need to subdivide the slurs to have enough bow speed available. Since we don't want to interrupt the phrase, a smooth bow change becomes really important. So let's try it with the piano.